Hey guys, it's me. I'm going to be doing a review of Amazing Spider-Man 2. The review is going to work like this. The first part is going to be just general review of it. And then the second part is going to be an in-depth examination of the ending, spoilers, spoiler filled. So if you haven't seen the movie or you don't give a shit about spoilers, then you watch that part. So The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the sequel to the Mark Webb reboot, The Amazing Spider-Man. Right here, got it on Blu-ray. Really good movie. Here to talk to you about the sequel today. Just came out of seeing it in the theater. And I have to say, it was really, really good. The critics, don't trust them. So basically, the plot to The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is that the Oscorp is sending a bunch of supervillains against Spider-Man. Obviously, the plot is more complex than that, but if I get into anything else, I wouldn't dare spoil it until the second half of this video. Then I will start spoiling, and I'll tell you when that happens. But also, you have Peter Parker dealing with his love life. You have the villain lineup here is basically, if you're worried about the three villain things, I don't think you have to worry about that. It's basically just Electro and Goblin, played very well by Jamie Foxx. I really have to say, he did very well as Electro. More of a sympathetic character. You felt bad for him because he was just like a dork and like a nobody to everyone else. He just wanted to be noticed, at least, so it didn't really happen to him unless it was in a negative way, and you'll see that in the movie. So, and also Harry Osborn, aka the Green Goblin. Dane DeHaan does a great job as the Green Goblin / Harry Osborn. And I also have to say, what a performance by Andrew Garfield. He's the best Spider-Man yet throughout both of these movies. He's a great character, great actor. He's also really funny. He mocks his villains throughout the whole movie, and it's kind of hilarious. And it's also kind of like a comedy, a little comedy mixed in there, drama, of course, action. But that brings me to one of my problems I had with the movie. And one of my problems is definitely with the action. Don't get me wrong, the special effects are great. The fighting looks awesome. And you're sitting there going, oh, holy shit, looks great. But there's one thing that just really bothered me. And it's the fact that they're just really short. And tend to feel rushed. Not rushed, but just they're very well done when they're happening, but they end so shortly, and you feel what the hell? But they're very well done. But then that leads me to another problem, and that other problem is, this is both a problem and something I liked. The problem I had with this movie is that it feels like a setup for a bigger thing, which is the Sinister Six. The Sinister Six is basically just a bunch of supervillains. There's a bunch of different lineups for that, but Sinister Six will probably be in the next movie. But this feels like a big setup for something that's even bigger than this. But at the same time, I feel the setup is done very well. Another one of my problems I had with the movie was not Paul Giamatti, basically the screen time that Rhino didn't have any screen time whatsoever, except for not even a minute. It was basically in there for 45 seconds. I mean, the good thing is that the movie felt a lot more focused than it would have been if there were three villains throughout the whole 2.5 hour long movie. But Then again, Rhino didn't even fight Spiderman, really. But the good thing is that it's going to set up very well for the next movie, and that's what I keep coming back to. The setup is great. Overall, I think this was a very good movie. Not as good as the first. I wasn't disappointed due to the mixed reviews I heard from critics. I set my expectations low and still got a very good movie. Not as good as the first, as I said, but great effects, great fight scenes, though a little short. Sometimes the plot gets a little messy, but doesn't get overly messy. Has a great pace, great characters, great performances. And despite feeling like I set it for a bigger movie, which would probably be the next one, I still really enjoyed this. Now I'm on to my spoiling part of this review, where I'm going to spoil the shit out of this movie. I'm going to say, like, everything that happened. Not everything that happened in the movie, just some very important points, that stuff I liked and didn't, that I couldn't say in the first half of this review. So here we go. Okay, now that the only people here are people that have seen the movie, Electro dies, Gwen Stacy dies, and Harry Osborn / Green Goblin is sent to jail. How did I feel about that? Electro dying, what the fuck? I mean, he died, but the good thing is, unlike Spider-Man 3, he was in the movie throughout the whole thing, and had a couple fight scenes, so that there was still that. But then, in the ending for this movie, the ending was extremely abrupt. I like that it was a setup, but what I didn't like was that when there was just one huge shot of Rhino running towards Spider-Man, and they're about to fight, and Spider-Man takes some thing for sewer and supposedly hits Rhino in the face, and screen goes black and credits roll. At that point I was like, okay. I was really happy the movie was good, but I didn't like the fact of how it ended like that. They could have had a fight scene leading up to more. And I also want to talk about the X-Men credit scene, which is 5 minutes after the credits. It's not really a scene, but it's like it's kind of like a trailer, I guess. It's a scene trailer with Mystique kicking ass. But I want to get to my main problem, and it's not with it's kind of with the movie, but it's with the marketing. Sony, what the motherfucker? What is with having trailers that are 5 minutes and they show every single fight scene in the movie? Do you like that? Do you like that? You just said no. What the fuck? You showed every single fight scene, every single thing in the trailer. They didn't show everything from the fight scene, but they showed every, at least a couple seconds of every single fight scene. So, I mean, this has nothing to do with the movie. It has to do with their marketing. So much in the trailers. I mean, how am I gonna find the movie to be a little unpredictable? I mean, the movie as a movie was not very predictable. There were some things that I didn't know were gonna happen like that, but the way that they marketed this, they put so much shit in the trailers. Like, I mean, I could literally take every trailer, they even put like clips out there from the movie. I could just take that and put that into the whole movie. I mean, that's why in my non-spoiler part of this review, I did not dare say anything about, and I did not dare say anything about the fight scenes. I just said this was a fight scene, this was a fight scene. But the fight scene with the Green Goblin, it's really good. It's really good. It's well done. The fighting is great. Still very short fight scene. I like the Electro fight much better, and because it was really cool. It had a lot of humor in it, and it was longer than the other one with the Green Goblin. But I'm at least happy the Green Goblin didn't die, because if he died, I'd be pissed. And my grade would be much lower than it already is. So, anyway, then we get to Gwen Stacy's death. Let me tell you something, I saw this coming. The way she dies is basically she falls, loses her footing. I forgot. She falls in a tower. Spidey goes down, tries to catch her, spins a web, and he gets her. He actually does, but not in time for her to break her fucking back on the floor. Yeah, that hurts. She's dead. My friend pretended he was crying. I knew he wasn't, because if you read the comics or you watch the cartoons or stuff, you know she's gonna die. I knew she was gonna die. I just sat there like this. That's sad. Alright, move on. And I kind of saw it from the trailers. Guys, just stop with the trailers, please. Bitches. Oh, but overall, I've got to say this was a very good movie, despite some... Overall, I've got to say this is a very good movie, despite some major flaws. There's just so many things that I loved about it. I'm not... Don't get me wrong. There are things that I loved about this movie. Especially the action scenes, despite being a little short. And the setup was great. How they... the performances were great, even if they were a little over the top by Dane DeHaan, but he was just very charismatic. And overall, I've got to say I'm going to give The Amazing Spider-Man 2 a B+. Don't take me wrong if I didn't get into the A range. That doesn't mean, oh, you didn't like it. No, that means I really liked it. I thought it was very, very, very good. If there was just some narrative... if there were just less narrative problems, I think the movie would be a little more enjoyable. But overall, this is definitely very good. Don't trust the critics. Don't look and say... People are actually saying that this is the next Batman and Robin of superheroes or Spider. That's just bullshit. Overall, I did really enjoy this movie. It was a lot of fun. Really good story. A little messy at times, but doesn't change the fact that this movie was awesome. And I'm going to give it a B+. Thank you guys for watching. And if you see me at school, say hi. Bye.